Hello, everyone. My name is Valdrin and I'm the senior analyst for BeInCrypto. So, as always, today with me we have Konstantin, who is our global trader. And today we're going to talk about the DeFi, the decentralized finance sector, and basically its performance during the ongoing bear market. So, I mean, obviously, the DeFi sector has been hit hard, just like the rest of the cryptocurrency market. And especially this I mean, in crypto, these let's call them, I guess, subcategories usually get it harder than Bitcoin or the large coins. And DeFi, I know, I guess it has held reasonably well compared to some other coins, some other sectors. Sorry, but yeah. So uh, I'll just share my screen in a bit. So at first, I just wanna discuss a little bit of the total value locked mostly before we dive into charts and the price movement. Yeah, okay. So the first thing is basically the total value locked in DeFi protocols. And honestly, I mean, the chart kind of looks like Bitcoin or the rest of the cryptocurrencies because obviously, like, we had a lot more total value locked during the bull market, but the crash has been really significant. So basically, we went from not from about, but from 180 billion to only 39 billion, which is a massive decrease. So now we're back at early 2021 levels. And so right now, basically the protocol with the most total value locked is MakerDAO, who also offers pretty decent APIs, APYs, sorry. And then we have Lido, Ava, Curve, Uniswap, Convex Finance, JustLand, Cake, Comp, and InstaDApp. And I thought it was interesting that when we look at chains, Ethereum is still heavily dominating. I mean, it's always the case that Ethereum is heavily dominating, but I was actually surprised to see Tron second on the list. Like, I hadn't checked this chart a lot prior, and I just assumed that Binance Chain would be second, and maybe even Avalanche or Polygon, but I was actually really surprised that Tron was so high on the list, and it's mostly because of Just Land, which is just basically a lending protocol. And yeah, it basically dominates 65% of the total value locked in the Tron blockchain. And let me just go through Ethereum and BSC real quick, and then I'll move to the charts. So yeah, Ethereum has MakerDAO mostly. So basically, almost all of the big protocols are in Ethereum. So we have MakerDAO, we have Lido, we have Curve, we have Uniswap, and then Convex Finance. And yeah, Binance is heavily dominated by PancakeSwap. So yeah, basically the way I see it, both Binance Chain and Tron have just one project which kind of dominates the vast majority of total value locked. So it has very close to 50% total value locked for one project. So it was just land in the case of Tron, and in Tron, and it's Pancake Swap in the case of BSC. And Ethereum is actually much more balanced. So MakerDAO is 25%, and Lido is very close to the same because it has roughly 5 billion total value locked, while Curve and Uniswap aren't that far behind, and then we have like much smaller coins. But yeah, let me just go through some charts. And so the first thing I want to do is basically the DeFi sector. So I mean, Binance has this, I guess I'll call it an index on the futures platform, which is the DeFi index, and basically it's created from the, I think it's top 20. I have to check, but I'm not sure. But basically, all the data is there in Binance if you want to look at it. And well, the index has actually fallen very close to its all-time lows, which were in October, November 2020. So right here, basically. And honestly, there are no reversal signs yet. I mean, I guess if you would squint really hard, this would be some sort of an, I don't know, wedge-ish pattern, but yeah, I'm not ready to call it that. I mean, the only good thing is this bullish divergence right here. But even that, I think it's at risk of being invalidated because, I mean, this was the original divergence, now we're going down, so my best guess would be that we create some sort of a higher low right here. So this, and basically it touches this, and then I guess it bounces and it moves higher, best guess. And I don't know, maybe this kind of validates the wedge eventually, but I'm not sure yet. And yeah, it would fall right to support here, so guessing the bullish outlook would be something like this. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so I talked too much already, so I'll just pass it on to Konstantin.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just trying to share my screen here. Sorry for that. So, to be honest, I'm really bearish, but I would just explain it now. So, hopefully, you can see my screen now. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So, let me start with the total market capitalization because I do believe that we are going lower. And basically, if you think about it, this bear market hasn't been really harsh. And we talked about it a couple months ago when I said that this bear market doesn't feel like people are really believing like Bitcoin is going to die. And I think with all those bad news with centralized exchanges, we could get that last sentiment where people actually abandon crypto and say it's not going to last. It's all a scam. And we will just leave the industry. And I think that's the point when we hit the ultimate bottom of the cycle. So basically, we could still like head towards 535 billion market capitalization. So as you can see, we already reached that level here in June, and since then it was really like nothing, like no volatility, just really boring, basically bouncing from there, and since then dumping steadily. So yeah, I think we can definitely head towards this next support. So maybe 30% downside potential here. Like monthly histogram of MACD is still ticking bullishly higher, which is still like a indication for the end of the bear market. But I think we need that one more wave towards the downside to fully complete this bear cycle. And with those kind of candles here, the Heikki and Ashi, you can actually see trend reversal is much better. There's no green candle since November 2021 when we hit the all-time high. So this is also a really good indication for that. So I would just go to some DeFi projects, and I really like Avalanche. Like in general, I'm not really a believer of any coins because they all lack transparency. So I cannot really assess if I really think they have a future. But from what I have read about Avalanche, I think it's kind of more of a solid project more than others. But anyway, I do believe Avalanche is also going to drop, and Valdrin just said that we have this kind of bullish falling wedge, and basically all of the crypto coins currently have that pattern, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I really believe we could break out bullishly, but we are so far away from that right now. So we would really have to break, for example, the golden ratio resistance at a roughly $7, and I just don't see it happening in the next few weeks. So I'm probably going lower from here. So we hit that new yearly low in November, and now we at the same price region once again. And from here we can also like drop roughly 20%. So I'm really leaning bearish on Avalanche as well. I do believe we are dropping further, at least 20%. And if we have like a total meltdown, I could also definitely consider like that we hit the pre-bull run prices, like even going down from here, even like 76% is totally possible to me. But before that, we kind of hit small spots at roughly, I think it was, yeah, $9. So $9 would be my next midterm target for Avalanche. And then I also wanted to talk about Uniswap, which is basically like, it had a pretty good run when like after it hit the yearly low in June. But since then, it's like perfect example of bearish confirmation, because it was rejected at the golden ratio resistance at the 200 day EMA, and basically got rejected there again. And now we are like at this support here, which held like a couple of times, and we could definitely bounce again. But you see, we create a series of lower highs. So basically, we don't even reach the 200 day EMA anymore. We just get rejected at the 50 day EMA. And so I'm also leaning really bearish here on a drop of roughly 24 to 40% to the next support zone. But that's not too bad. I mean, we've been there again in this summer, had a pretty nice recovery, and now we're just going back again. I mean, long term, totally in a bearish parallel channel. And I do believe we could definitely break out bullishly, but just not yet. Takes probably, I don't know, couple months. And then also, I really, to be honest, I'm kind of looking forward to a big hit to the crypto industry, so we can really change more in a decentralized industry, because like centralized options are good. I think we've seen it many times now. And I also really believe Bitcoin can profit from that tremendously, because Bitcoin is, as you all know, not really centralized in the sense that we can actually track the creator of it. So even that it's like that Satoshi Nakamoto is unknown gives it like a kind of decentralized nature. So both coins look really bearish to me. We will always bounce a little bit, but then just continue the downtrend. And apart from that, I just want to talk about one more coin. So we talked about the Avalanche, Uniswap, and I don't see any comments, so I just go along with Cake, which is also kind of in the DeFi space. And Cake like also had the opportunity to break out bullishly, but didn't. Instead, we had a pretty clear rejection at the FIB resistance at roughly $5.5. So also looks extremely like it's crypto looks to me like volume and interest is slowly dying. So I definitely could see like a accumulation phase coming soon, where price might just go sideways for a couple of months. I mean, this scenario right here, that we don't just drop like straight to the next support zone, roughly 27%, or maybe even going to the pre-bull run prices, like dropping 93%. I don't really need that to happen. So we could also see like going sideways here for the support zone a couple of months, while people are losing interest in crypto, basically, which then we might hit the phase where people really believe crypto is dead. And that's the moment when the bear market is really coming to an end, and we can basically see a next upward cycle. And I also believe it's important to have that, because you always have much more growth potential once you really had that once you really hit that point where almost everybody has sold already. So I think prices could go much lower than that. The decline is obviously pretty big, but I mean 95%, but we're still trading higher than the yearly low. So I really do believe we're going for a lower low for most of the coins. And I don't know, this is like my last take, and then I'm giving it to Valdrin again. But seeing that the market capitalization will probably drop 30%, in my opinion, Bitcoin can also drop like to this next support zone. If we change to the normal candle, it's much more clear. Basically between 10,760 and 13,388 is my almost my conservative take. So I could also see a drop to 6,000, but I think this support zone here will definitely be tremendously defended by the bulls. So to be honest, I'm looking forward to that. Downtrend will just continue now, probably. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, thanks for that extensive analysis. Yeah, like I mean, honestly, for those that watched in the previous few weeks, like I've been slightly more bullish than Konstantin over the past weeks, but no, I'm fully moving on his side now. I'm genuinely becoming a lot more bearish. Like I don't know, to me, like that the previous Bitcoin move that went to about 18.5 could have been something good. So I mean, prior to that rejection, I was still thinking that maybe the previous drop just occurred because of the FTX implosion, and that was sort of like a black swan event, and then Bitcoin will now move higher and drag the rest of the crypto market with it. But no, with the recent rejection and like another drop, I'm fully leaning towards having another low, so another new yearly low and capitulation event before we eventually reverse. With that said, I'll also take a look at four DeFi coins, which I mean, I'm not necessarily, I'm not bullish on them in any way, but they at least look more bullish than the other coins that I'm seeing, I guess. So the first one for me is Aave. Two main reasons. So, okay, so all the coins that I'm kind of looking at, basically what they've done is that they held above their June lows. So basically, this would be sort of the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. So as you like Bitcoin made its original yearly low in June, and then so it failed to break out last week, created a massive long over wick, fell again. While Ethereum is still holding on, so it actually made a higher low and it's holding on here. And yeah, I'm kind of looking for coins which have shown that sort of strength, which, yeah, obviously that doesn't mean that they're necessarily bullish, but I know, in my opinion, they still have a better chance of recovering than those that actually like fell to new year lows and like validated these areas as resistance and maybe even fell to like new all-time lows in the process. But yeah, okay, so this is just barely not the divergence because the close is slightly higher. But I do like this bounce here and this bullish candlestick. And in the case of AVE, actually, I like the daily time frame more because this move kind of looks corrective to me. So basically, this entire downward movement here looks really, really weird if it were an impulse, and then we have this like overlap here. So I don't know. I still think it's possible that this is some sort of an ABC where A and B had a one-to-one, I think. Very, very, very close to one-to-one. And then again, we have these really, really good looking candlesticks here. So basically, I really like this bullish hammer here. But again, this close was really bad. So this Friday movement to me is what actually seemed the most bearish. And yeah, now we're kind of losing that area, so that makes me bearish. But if we were to reclaim it, then I'd really, in my opinion, it would really increase the chances of some sort of reversal. So basically, really, really crucial area right here at about 56. And now it's kind of turned into resistance. Bullish divergence trend line also broke. But yeah, still, I mean, I guess it doesn't look completely horrible to me. Doesn't look good either, but still, it definitely could have looked worse. But again, if it doesn't reclaim it, I'm still bearish on it. Because if this is not an ABC like I discussed, then I guess it would have to be a massive 1-2-1-2. So basically like this, then we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just complete the longer term 3 somewhere here, and then have another drop. So this would take it like pre-bull market levels, and I know I'm not sure that happens yet, but you never know. So basically, if you don't really reclaim this soon, I think it's in trouble. Another coin which I mean, again, comp kind of looks the same. So yeah, if you squint, I guess this is some sort of a wedge, like here and here, and this could still be a bullish divergence actually. But yeah, again, so I kind of like comp just because it's it has created a higher low relative to the June lows, and this is actually basically what I'm kind of looking for in all coins. So my first requirement would be that they have created higher lows instead of lower lows relative to the June drop. But of course, if we move to a higher time frame, then comp is actually at an all-time low. And honestly, it's weird. A lot of these coins, like basically when they broke down from their all-time lows, like the move up was so weak that they failed to even retest it. Sorry. So like even if we are bearish, like at the very least, I would have expected something like this before another drop. But no, they didn't even give that. So like a massive show of weakness there. And yeah, the next we have sushi. I think sushi looks interesting because it's still at this weak low support here, and it has created what kind of looks like a triple bottom here. And I guess you could even see this as a bullish divergence still. I mean, it is still actually a bullish divergence, that you can see it. It's weird. Like honestly, I haven't seen divergences not play out this much for a long time. Like basically, there are many divergences in many coins in multiple time frames, and they're just not playing out. It's just honestly weird from my perspective. But even in the case of sushi, like the shorter movement looks really bad. So basically, it's like most likely an ABC up, and then now we're basically crashing down. So like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks pretty bad. But then last, Ocean actually do like this coin, and I think we analyzed it a few weeks before. Uh, the RSI movement is really good in my opinion. But I don't like that we failed. I mean, we actually did break out, but then we created this massive long upper wick. So I do not like that. But yeah, basically, so there is bullish divergence here, and then with this move here, this is a swing failure pattern, which is pretty bullish. So basically, what this means is that so at first the other side did create bullish divergence. Let me just so lots of bullish divergence here. Then after the RSI moves upwards, it basically validates this high here. So this high between the divergence lows, it validates this as support and then moves higher. But yeah, in order for this to be confirmed, we'd have to see something like this. So yeah, these coins to me have, I guess, the semblance of a bullish setup, even though I'm not bullish on them, but the vast majority of other coins I'm like just flat out bearish. So these four are the ones which I still think have some hope. But yeah, we're moving toward the end of our session, so we only have 3 more minutes left. I don't see any questions, to be honest. Like we had more viewers than last time, thankfully, but I don't really see any questions yet. So I guess we can wait a little more. Maybe we get something, but if not, then we can end the session here, I guess. Okay, I guess we have nothing then. So, I mean, this was it for today. So again, thanks a lot for those that watched live and those that will watch the recording afterward. And we will see each other again next week with a new topic.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.